So yeah, up to this point, we have pretty much covered all the basic logic of of this like application. Some things like chat, etc. We have not I have not like shown it's like simple chat, etc. But most of the technical logic I have explained. Now I have created a new wallet, which is a multi-signature wallet. However, I have not used the previous one because adding too many groups can be confusing for the viewer. So that is why I've created a fresh group in my new profile. In there, I've created a multi-signature wallet. I have done all the necessary things of like adding a person, a member in this already. So now we'll proceed in here. Advanced features which are of our application, which is adding shareholders, which is to add shareholders within our application to change the state of our wallet. So what we will do now is we will add shareholders. We will get 100% shares within this particular group. And after 100% shares are added, then we can effect the logistics of this group. For example, of approving a large transaction, and we will go out of the admin mode. This is generally for the bigger companies that are out there that want to have their entire company logic set up within these like wallets. But before we do into it, right now we are within the admin mode and we just want to have like a registry of shareholders to be set. So that is something we can do by uploading a PDF, and we can go back and forth between those versions if we are the admin. So now what admin will do is he will upload a shareholder book. Now, what we have done is we have uploaded a PDF. This PDF will be set as a shareholder book. This is not going to affect the logic of the group. However, what this will do is this is a proof of record of who are the members of our application. Later, we will go from here to shareholder records that are entered, and then they will use the logic of the group. So we can upload a couple of more like PDFs as well and set one of them as active. I will upload one more PDF. You can see now I have two PDFs in here. Let's say that we had two different shareholder records. One of them was the latest one, and I want to set the latest one as active. What I can do is set that as active. Also, you can do other things like downloading and doing other like stuff as well. To download these book after being set as active. So this is basically our logic, which is set up with respect to the shareholders, but we are still in the admin mode. Now our shareholders want to move from admin mode into the shareholder mode. For that, I need to add all the shareholders within this particular. So let's now add shareholders one by one. What I'm doing is I'm initializing my shareholder book. You can see all the necessary information that was in that form. So after that, we have like successfully added our switch to start initializing our shareholder control. So now until it is 100% done, I cannot set this active, and I need all the shareholders to be accepting this particular request as well. So what I will show you now is adding these shareholders one by one. So let's add the first shareholder record. In here, you see three types of shareholders. One is a natural person who's like a simple shareholder. The other record types are shareholder record of representative of a legal entity and of a natural person. With respect to legal entity, there are those people who are representing a company, who are in place of a company, who can approve transactions in place of me. So that company needs to approve that particular user to, hey, you can approve our transactions on our behalf. Same is with respect to a representative of natural person. In this case, that natural person is he's a representative of that natural person, and he can sign transaction in his place. So we will select which is the best option in here. I will just go with the first one and I will proceed. And let's add the email. We have 1 minute left, so let's try to wind this up. So now we can. So this person is the user of this particular application. So he will get this. So you can click on view profile to view the profile as well. We won't do it right now, but you can do it to check. Now let's add the shareholder. Shareholder is added. We are now going to add the shares. When we add the shares, it is going to represent out of how many percentage of shares we own. Now what we are doing in here, if you see it, there is like how many shares we have. I think we have 100,000. The number of shares that we are going to add is going to set percentage of those shares that we have within that particular. What this does is that this allows us to have that particular voting power. Let's say I have 10,000 shares out of 100,000. It gives me 10% of shares. That means 10% of the voting power in this group. So depending upon how many shares we want to allocate this person, we will those number of shares. You can see we have 25% of shares, mean 25% of voting power. We can add some information in here. Again, this is dummy information, but you will be doing obviously will be production grade information only. So let's just add like random information and just after this is submit, our initial first person is going to receive an invite / notification. He will receive within his application as a notification, and he will receive an email as so you can like accept it either from your notification area or from your email area. This particular invite, you can see the record status is pending. The particular request has been sent. Here, these are your number of shares. This is your percentage of shares. This is your voting power. Do you want to accept or reject it? So if we go into the other user in here now, and we see his like profile, let's quickly refresh this or wait for a couple of seconds. Yes, it is all. Yeah. So you can see we kept the shareholder invite. We can view this invitation and you will see all the information that is associated with it. Then you can accept or reject it. Right now I'm sharing my screen and doing a couple of things, so it might be a little slower, but you can see all the information that is in here. So the group, who is the group, who, what kind of status you have, you are a natural person, and how much voting power, etc. shares you have. So let's just confirm this information. Now I will also let's wait for a couple of seconds for this to group, and then I will show you the email that I have received as well to say that hey, you can do it from there as well. But now it's accepted, but in the email we can see it as well. So let's quickly open the email section. Message for editor here quickly, please. You can blur out the other emails and just focus on work. So let's go. So in here, when we see that we have this particular invitation, you can accept this invitation from this. So depending upon how you want it, you can either do it from notification or you can use the email base. So you will add this. So let's add the other records as well. If you are not a user in here, and a very good like example explanation can be that I can add your email, then an invitation will be sent to onboard to the application. You will need onboard the application. You need to do the KYC process. Your KYC will be approved. Then you can participate again with respect to the votings officially. So for that, if you are not the user of the application, an invite will be sent for you and accept that invite. However, participate in the voting to do production level voting, you need to for that production level voting, you need to be a member of this application with the principal ID. Principal ID is important. Your wallet is important to sign transactions for, but you can do it and you can like add the record. But we will in here focus on the people who we already have done KYC to save us some time. So let's add the members who are in here. Let's add another record in here. So let's just use the same one. You can use a different one as well. The way this guy is representing, and you can proceed with. So let's just add his email. Still have 30 seconds. That is cleared. Okay, let's add. Now you need to add like some other information as well. Let's just quickly add that. Set the phone number. Set the full address. Set the other information. Again, how many shares do you own? We had, I think 25% or 20%. Now we have 35%. Now let's do this other information quickly and just some. So we have now received from 2 people. We will add also the third member as well. Quickly do his approval with the same way. It is the same like, okay, now I have added all 3 records and I have approved all 3 records as well. What you can see is that the sum of all the shares is now 100%. This is very crucial and this is very important. Till unless you have this 100% set, you cannot confirm and start voting. All these like records need to sum up to 100%. And if you see, the number of shares are equal to your voting power as well. So depends upon how many shares you have. Depending upon how many shares you have, you get the voting power. It's relative to your voting power. This is a very important point, and this affects how the proceedings work in real environment as well. So now we have 100% set. All the shares are set. All users have shares. So I will start. But before we go into that, briefly, let me explain you the settings area in here. And if you see this, a lot of fields are disabled because the shareholder voting has not started. Until or unless you start your shareholder-based voting, you cannot affect these if you don't have that particular role associated with it. So you can see all these different fields, and you cannot, unless or until have the shareholder voting enabled, you cannot proceed with these. So let's approve it and then show you these things again. So yes, let's start. Another important again point is here that once you are doing this particular thing, how many people who are going to cast the vote require a internet identity based principal based wallet. Very important to note here because a lot of the times people might be trying to cast a vote. Until you have your principal ID associated with it, you cannot do production transaction on ICP. This is a state change of your canister. So this is now 100% is done. And if you see in here, our record is now set as active. And in the settings, then what we can do is now we can perform these different things based on how many shareholder shareholders, etc. record is active set or not. So yes, this is a very crucial step, important step in here when you're adding shareholders, add those shareholders who have done like KYC, principal ID, and if they want to participate in the voting. Once that is done, then we can proceed with change in settings as well. So if I go back into the stakeholders, the shareholder records, you can see now it's set as when you don't see that option of anymore that you can start it and you can modify the setting. So this is pretty much how all the entire setup goes. I think we have pretty much explained the setup of the things. Now I will proceed with the actual state change of